Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back to the channel. If you want to see an eclectic bunch of music, you just came to the right place because I'm all over the place this week. Got a lot of cool things going on. Happy Labor Day to those in the U.S. For those that are not, hey, enjoy Monday. I have to work today, but I get to work from home, so it's okay. What you'll hear in the background today is Afrovision. This is a cool compilation. It's a 2 CD set. The Afro Sounds of Colombia, Volume 1. This is from the 60s and 70s, a lot of their Afrocentric music. And so it's kind of hit and miss. But it has a real funky beat to it. You can kind of hear kind of James Brown influences in some of this, African influences. So the Afro Sound of Colombia, Volume 1. It is a pretty cool compilation, so I enjoy that. So we'll enjoy that as we go through the records today, all right? So a little coffee, unlike some. Too early for libations. All right, so let's do a quick story about my weekend. If you follow me on Facebook, you kind of know this. Big Nebraska Cornhusker fan. So I flew down to Nebraska for the weekend to watch the game. My son from Denver was coming down, and we're going to the first game of the season. Brand new coach. A lot of excitement going on. Well, as we're going there, my son's talking about the very first game we ever went to, and he goes, yeah, some guy that worked for you got us tickets. I go, God, who was this guy? And I couldn't think of it. When we're at a bar a couple hours later, it came to me, Mike Mittenbrink. That's the guy. He was an assistant when I opened up a store in 1989, and he was one of my managers. So okay, yeah, we got it. 10 minutes later, have to get up, have to head to the restroom. As I'm walking, all of a sudden I hear Steve. Well, there's a lot of Steves here. This place is crowded with people in red. I was like, Carlson. I go, what the heck? I look over. It's Mike Mittenbrink. Can you believe that? We just talked about 10 minutes ago. Mike Mittenbrink. I haven't seen him in many years. And there he saw me in this crowded bar full of people in red. I have one of those faces, I guess. So I come back to see my son. Funny as all get out. I mean, it's such a small world. Well, so after that, we get to the game. I mean, and it's excited, but there's a chance of storms. Well, the sky was kind of black, but we're all excited. This is the first game, new coach, and we're all going up, and they're out and they're warming up, and ready to go. Adrenaline is pumping. National anthem. The band does their thing. They come out. They're lined up. They put the ball on the tee. We're ready for kickoff. And then they run off the field. And you go, huh? Oh, no way. I mean, we're up. We're standing. We're just ready to hawk out here. And they run off the field. What the heck? All of a sudden, there's been a lightning strike. Hell, I'm 5 rows from the top. If there's a lightning strike, I'll be the first to know because I'm the one getting hit by it. And off they went. But it was dark. It was black. We waited around. It began to rain. We put on our plastic bag ponchos. Finally, we gave up, left. And it was wrath of God that came. I'm telling you, I don't know who sinned in Nebraska, but my God, the fury came in. And lightning, rain. It was unbelievable. My trip back, oh my goodness. So, I fly to Nebraska. I buy these tickets. They weren't cheap because it's the very first game. Everything else, and I never saw the football game. Unbelievable. It's the way it is. But I saw Mike Mittenbrink, so what the hey. Okay, let's get into some music now. There was my weekend story here. We're going to start off with this. This one's pretty interesting here. Just got this in. Here is Cat. He hasn't been in the video for a while. Don't know why, but suddenly we're being a lap cat. All right, so I got this in recently, and let's take this off. All right, can you see that? The name of the band is Kamal Kiila. All right, and there's the name of the album. Hey, I'm working on editing. I'm getting close to figuring out how to do like drops and stuff like that. Dude, you're on my records, man. Come on. So, these guys are from Sudan, And, you know, they were there. You know, Sudan's been in a 22-year war. I mean, it's kind of fixed or whatever. His parents were killed. He was an orphan, but he learned to make music. And, you know, what he did is he took a lot of our soul and funk and combined it with African music. And you'll hear even a lot of James Brown influences in here. Thing is, none of it's recorded except for a radio broadcast in 1992. So this is from that. One album is in English and one album is in Arabic on there. As you can see, I really can't read it, but there, that's kind of a neat label on that. And, you know, he did the English ones. This is very political. He would have got killed, but he did it in English because nobody knew what the heck he was saying. So he put it out in English, you know, because one of them, you know, here's Muslims and Christians, which is basically, it's the name of the album, Muslims and Christians. And it's about, why can't we just get along? Why can't we live together? You know, I believe he's passed away in that, but this is the only music he had. It was from a radio broadcast. Really good. If you like Afro, you know, funk and soul stuff, really get into this. Great horn section on there. Nice buy. Couple new buys. So yeah, I've been trying to get back into some new music because I haven't done a lot. I haven't done well. I keep buying all the older stuff. So Nathan Salzberg. This is third. This guy is from, hey look, you can see the phone there. This guy's from Louisville, Kentucky. He's an instrumentalist, guitar player. Nice, peaceful, beautiful album. My goodness, this guy can play. You know, you think of McCoy Tyner. This is the guy which is would be with acoustic guitar. Some of it's faster, some of it's slower, but it's absolutely beautiful music. And if I was far enough in my editing to be able to do some needle drops, I would needle drop this guy. Please check him out, take a look him up, you know, listen to some stuff. Nathan Salzberg. If you want heavy metal, this isn't going to be it. But if you like something kind of quiet, peaceful, beautiful acoustic music, well worth it. Another acoustic person I brought in from the way of England, and this is Gwennifer Raymond. And the name of the album is You Never Were Much of a Dancer. Isn't that a fun album? You Never Were Much of a Dancer. She must have seen me or something. She knows my dancing skills. So Gwennifer Raymond. Again, it's instrumental. She's what you call primitive Americana. I hadn't heard that one. Primitive Americana now. Basically, her influences are Skip James, Mississippi John Hurt, a lot of the older folk blues singers. She plays all the instruments. She does banjo, violin, she does the guitar, some fast, some slow. It's really beautiful music. And you know, she came over, her record company brought her over to a concert that was going on in Maryland for her to play, and she hooked up with a number of different people, and you know, and really got into everything. But so they recorded this album, and again, primitive American, acoustic, really neat. She's a really good banjo player, so well worth, you know, checking out those 3 albums. Really neat. I just got those in from Amazon. All right, I'm going to start off with something really interesting. Tenor sax and tenor sax, Passion and Mood. When you see this album, it's like, oh boy, what is this thing going to be? And I had a friend, he had me come over to look at some some jazz and see if I wanted it. And then you open it up and you look at the writing. So here we go. So this is kind of an interesting album. All right. So it has this nice picture book in here. English and Chinese, Japanese writing. I am not sure what's going on here. We'll just go through. Yes, we got naked pictures in here too. Here we have English words kind of laid out so you can see what each thing are, so you can practice. Because basically, this thing's laid out Japanese, Chinese, I'm not sure which. So fascinating. It's Japanese. I'm sorry, I do know which one. So then you look at this. This was 1969 colored vinyl. All right. So what about the music, you may say? Well, let's say the packaging's much better than the music. It takes saxophone, baritone sax, tenor sax, very heavy in sax, but then they put in an orchestra behind it, so it gets really schmaltzy at times. They play some standards on there. I can't tell you. I mean, it's all in Chinese or Japanese. I don't know what's going on with it. I have some of the people on there. No vocals, but really neat. Hey, there's Cat, right? Cat. It's a different album, okay? The packaging's really neat, but it's actually worth quite a bit of money. So there you go. That was an interesting pickup. Okay, so let's get on to some of the old stuff I got. Here we go. Kraftwerk. This is Kraftwerk's second album. Ralph and Florian, it's called. There's your label for those that enjoy the labels. This was the album where Kraftwerk goes, hey, let's do it with a melody. And they made melodies on here. It's a wonderful album. I hadn't seen this one before, and I don't, I guess just goes to show sometimes you just don't know much. And I really liked it. I found it very relaxing, very melodic. It wasn't vocals; it was just them playing, piano, synthesizer, and great album. I really liked it. For Kraftwerk fans or electronic music fans, if you don't want to be bothered by a bunch of lyrics, that's a neat way to go. All right, box tops. I have one here. I have an air box top here, okay? So I found these, and I have one CD in box tops, but I didn't have anything else. That's on a Bell label. This one's a little beat up. This is the first one. It had their big hit, The Letter, and Neon Rainbow, 1967. It came out, and the box tops were called the DeVilles at the time, but there's already an air group called the DeVilles. So how they really got Alex Chilton, is the lead singer of the Box Tops, and I could go on for hours about this guy. But he was with the DeVilles, and he had some people. They wrote a hit. They wrote a song called "The Letter," and he had this voice that was just this, deep soul growl, and it was perfect for it. And so he did it. 1 minute 58 seconds long. And it sold 4 million copies. Well, this is going crazy, this song, but they don't got an album, so they quickly made one. They have a lot of covers on here. They have Whiter Shade of Pale on here. Then they have I'm Your Puppet, Going to Find Somebody. Neon Rainbow was their second hit. That didn't sell nearly the 4 million. So this was their first album. They had to dress up in the same outfits, except if you notice, they're all dressed in the same outfit, except for one person, Alex Chilton. That guy was a rebel. Really interesting character. I might get into some of his stuff later on. Fascinating person. So here was their next, this was their third album. I don't have a second one yet. This is called Dimensions. This is actually a repress on here. This was the first time that Alex Chilton was allowed to use his own songs. He made his own lyrics on here. He did it on 3 different songs. They have, they have a really long, it's 9 minutes on the end, Rock Me Baby from B.B. King. I loved it. I've read stuff, people kind of pan it. I think it was great, and it just kind of had this cool groove going on. There was a song called Sweet Cream Ladies that was considered way too sexual. It was about prostitutes, so it wasn't allowed to go out there. Soul Deep was the hit they tried to get out of this, but this was their third and the last album as the Box Tops. Band, it was kind of interesting about the band. Actually, I'm reading the biography on Alex Chilton right now. All right, we have this one here. This is Neil Diamond's, and Vinyl Community loves this one, On the Beach. On the Beach, kind of a Lost Diamond Lost Diamond, Neil Diamond, Lost Neil Young classic on there. It was on the Reprise label. It's probably, you know, if you like Neil Young, you have to have it. If you like Neil Young, you probably do have it. I didn't. I'd been looking at this in a record store in West Virginia for 6 months. No one had ever bought it, and so finally I went and thought, well, it deserves a home, and they brought it down in price, so I did get it. It's kind of one of the coolest pictures in the front. Really good music. Neil Young had just made Tonight's the Night, but his record company says, man, that's way too dark. You need something a little better. So they wouldn't release it, and so he came up with this one. And then after that, he did Tonight's the Night, and can you believe Neil Young made something that a record company wouldn't release? Wow, what a shocker. I bought Little Feat, the last record album. This is, I'm not a completist on Little Feat, but I've been trying to buy more of their stuff. Certain ones, and this was one of them. This was kind of the tail end, the last album in which they were in their prime. The last record, it wasn't their last record album, but for the best of Little Feat, it was kind of toward the tail end. And this came out, well, no big deal on that label. We all have seen that one. So, good listen. I think now I have all the Little Feat I want. I really have their 70s stuff, especially the early to mid 70s, so I'm pretty happy with that. And Kat's keeping an eye on things. All right, I picked this one up. This is the debut of Family, and this was from Music in a Doll's House. Music in a Doll's House from Family. If you like hippie, psychedelic kind of music, this is the classic. British hippie music. British hippie music. It's different. Some people absolutely love Family. I've tried, it's on an early reprise label there. I can't say Family's my cup of tea. I have a couple of their others, but I saw this and just looked fascinating and creepy. And so I thought, well, let's give it a try. And threw it on, really different. Again, 60s, a little psychedelic, and very hippie-ish. Very hippie-ish. I didn't like hippies growing up. You know, I was the next generation up. So those of you on YouTube that are hippies, I love you now. I love you now. But I was a kid, I didn't get it. So picked it up. You know, it's an important album really for the family. This is a big album, and it's an important album of the 60s because it really did. You know, again, British hippie rock. This one really tells you a lot about it. Found this one, Van Morrison, Hard Nosed Highway. You know, Morrison had put out 5 prolific albums. His first 5 albums were incredible. This was the first one that many people would say, hey, kind of, he lost a little bit. But it's going to help. I mean, how do you keep getting better and better? Isn't that artwork incredibly cool on this one? I think it's just fantastic artwork. Really nice. You know, this one had the really big hit, Warm Love. I love that song, Warm Love. But it's a beautiful album. Like Van Morrison, another beautiful album. This was from 73. I believe I've done 5 albums. This is 73, and this one came out. Really a nice listen. I'm glad I hadn't seen it. There it was. But I had it written down on a list. This is part of my list. And I was able to check it off. I bought a couple more Van Morrisons here. This is from the mid-80s, I believe 85, 86. No Guru, no Method, no Tender. I had this one on cassette. It's on Mercury there. I taped it. It's one of my thousands of tapes that I illegally pirated back in the 80s. And so that was on there, and so I put it on my list to get it on an album. Again, is it a classic Van Morrison? No. Is it a good listen? Yes. Again, peaceful, melodic. And I have this one. This is from 78, Wavelength from Van Morrison. Again, I had taped it, but now I bought it. I got it in vinyl. It kind of erases all the sins of that illegal taping, I guess. So, whew, I feel better now. Wow, I've been, blessed. Okay, so, got those. Last one I'm going to show is Steel Pulse. For those of you reggae lovers, Babylon Bandit. I didn't like it. I like reggae, but this thing, 1985, they brought in synthesizers. They tried to bring that 80s sound into it, and I thought it ruined it. Absolutely. To me, it wasn't reggae. You know, I understand they're trying to update the sound, you know, with the times. It's just this one hasn't gone through, didn't transition well. So as it's aged, it sounds extremely aged in my mind. Again, you know, important group of reggae. I don't have. I think this is my second Steel Pulse, and I want to get more, but that was, to me, that was a clunker. You get those, right? That's part of what, I don't know what I'm buying. Let's just buy, let's see what we have there. So that's what I've listened to. It's been a busy week, obviously traveling and then going to Nebraska. And I was in Omaha. I went to Homer's Records. For those that follow me on Facebook, if you don't, feel free to. If you like to see pictures of weird food, I'm the man. Beer, I'm the man. Record stores, I'm the man. But we went to Homer's, and I wasn't going to buy a thing, and oh my God, then I found a couple of things I've been looking for from the OJs. And once I find a couple albums, screw it. I've already bought something, I'll buy more. I bought some really neat things. So that's what I got for this week. Go Big Red, we have yet to play a game. Big disappointment. Flush some money away. Maybe I can get it back. I hope so on there. I hope everyone has a great week. As always, hey, I'm over 150 subscribers. Thank you very much. That's kind of cool, kind of fun. I really do appreciate that. Though I know my average video, they watch about 8 minutes, so most of you haven't watched this part, but it's okay. I don't mind. I get it. But again, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week because I'm going to have a bunch more music to show. Thanks a lot.